Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is yet another Eurovision 2026 related video here on my channel, and another reaction type video as well, because right now I'm about to listen in full for the first time to Bulgaria's entry with regards to the 2026 edition of the Eurovision Song Contest, which, as we all know, will take place this May in Vienna, Austria. As always, you're welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. As I speak to you, it is the evening of Saturday the 28th of February, and it really has been a super Saturday in the world of the 2026 edition of the ESC. There's been a lot of shows taking place across Europe over the past few hours. We've had the final of Norway's MGP, perhaps a bit of a surprising outcome in that one. We've had the final of Finland's UMK, no real surprises there, that's for sure. We've also had the final of Germany's Das Deutsche Finale. Can't say I'm shocked by the result in that one. We've had the final of Serbia's PZE. I'm really not surprised by the result in that particular event either. We've also had Italy's Sanremo Music Festival. The final of that is ongoing as I speak to you now. We've had the second semi-final of Portugal's Festival de Canção, which I think might be finished as I speak to you now. And we also had the final fifth heat before the grand final in Melfest over in Sweden, and I think perhaps the less said about that one the better for now. Anyway, lurking in the background, Bulgaria. We've known about the artist for some time, but her song was chosen a few hours ago at the time of recording this video you're watching now. The Bulgarian selection started on January the 24th with 15 artists involved. There was a jury and public vote, and 8 artists progressed. It is worth saying the artists performed songs from their own catalogue in that particular show. Show 2 on January the 31st saw those remaining artists perform another song from their own back catalogue, and the winner, thanks to jury and public voting, was DARA. A little bit of information on her. Her name is Darina Yotova, born in September 1998 in Varna. She came to prominence in her homeland after appearing on her country's version of The X Factor in 2015. She's gone on to appear on The Voice of Bulgaria as a coach. She's also appeared on the Bulgarian version of Your Face Sounds Familiar. She's released 2 albums, most recently last September. She's released a whole bunch of singles, and based on the research I've done, I think it's fair to say she's probably one of the most notable female solo artists in her country. Now, tonight was the song selection, where public voting and jury voting would determine the winning track and therefore Bulgaria's entry for this year's upcoming competition in Vienna. Of course, Bulgaria haven't taken part for a few years, so this is their comeback track. Anyway, there was a 10-member jury panel, and they favoured Bangaranga, and in the public vote it was a landslide, an absolute landslide for Bangaranga. So that is the song she will be performing in May. The other 2 tracks, Curse and This Is Me, I've heard a little bit of. I may well hear those songs in full at some point in the near future. But the one that matters is available on the official Eurovision Song Contest YouTube channel. At the time of recording, it has had just under 5,000 views. I feel as though a lot of attention was elsewhere tonight, so a lot of Eurovision fans may well only pay attention to this track perhaps in the next day or two. It's worth saying we're getting Australia's track within the next 24 hours, so all being well, I will be filming a reaction video to that one when it surfaces. But anyway, Bangaranga, that is the name of Bulgaria's entry. We do have an advert. This will give me a little bit of time to tell you that Bulgaria have never won the Eurovision Song Contest, but they debuted in Kyiv in 2005. They only qualified once in 9 efforts, so that's not a good track record. But then they turned things around a little bit by finishing 4th in 2016 in Stockholm with Polygenova and If Love Was a Crime. Then they finished 2nd in Kyiv with Christian Kostov. For me, I've never really loved that song. 615 points though, and he won the semi-final he was in. Equinox came along in 2018, finished 14th, but Bulgaria were one of the favourites to win for a while that year. Then the competition was cancelled. In 2020, Bulgaria did not take part in Tel Aviv in 2019, but Tears Getting Sober by Victoria was seen as the hot favourite to win at the time of the contest's cancellation. However, I've always preferred the entry she came back with in 2021, Growing Up Is Getting Old, 11th place in the final in Rotterdam, very nicely done, beautiful performance, but the public weren't really on board with it that much. And then Intelligent Music Project in 2022, to no surprise whatsoever, failed to make the cut. But can DARA get Bulgaria back into a Eurovision final? Let's see what this is all about then. Let me get myself organised here. What I'm watching won't be in the bottom corner of the video you're watching, that's the way it usually is. We probably have a studio version online somewhere now, so I will be checking that out as and when. But this is the national final performance. So here we go. I've seen a little bit, but not much. Let me know what you think in the comments below. This is Bangaranga by DARA for the returning Bulgaria. Here we go. Okay, it's starting in quite dramatic fashion. We've got orange lighting. She's in a white outfit, white boots, feathers all over her arms, and she's got dancers dressed in black approaching her. And now she's sitting on them. It's starting to feel full of life, I guess, now. It's building. Bangaranga, Bangaranga, Bangaranga. Okay, apologies for pausing it, but we are 44 seconds in, and yeah, after a slightly slow start, boom, straight into the main thrust of this song, if you see what I mean. She looks great. The beat and instrumentation is probably erring on the side of basic so far. What on earth is Bangaranga all about? That's just a made-up word, I'm guessing. Oh, and now we have a dance break. For no apparent reason, really. Okay, do you know what this reminds me of? Ever so slightly. It reminds me of Secret, Albania 2022. It also reminds me of The Queen Nation by Athena Manoukian, which was in Armenia's national selection last year. It's a sort of mishmash of those two songs so far. It's sassy, pop R&B. Okay, this part now is being repeated because this was right at the start of the song. This part is quite nice. Her voice sounds good. No worries there for me. Bangaranga. I don't know what this song is really about, though. Bangaranga, yes indeed, but I haven't really got much of a clue. And look, I am enjoying this. I think it's pretty strong. There's a lot of promise here, you know. There's still some time to go before Eurovision, and this song probably wasn't even in existence when she won the second show of Bulgaria's selection process. So the fact that they've come up with this probably very quickly is quite impressive. However, I'm halfway through. Apologies for pausing it again. But I will say that this really feels as though it is a bit all over the place. Almost as if it's 3 songs stitched together, and maybe not terribly well. Saying that, I don't mind this at all. There are promising signs. The dancers, I can understand why they're there, but they are a bit of a distraction, maybe. And then it slows down again. There's choreography happening all over the place. Sticking her leg up in the air. This is more of a public favourite than a jury favourite. I'll say that much. I already sense the juries won't like this that much, but I could be wrong. Energy. Yeah. It feels fairly modern, contemporary, radio-friendly, any other synonym you want to think of. I just wish this had a bit more of a better flow. It's almost there. Bangaranga. Bangaranga. I mean, what a year for hooks we have in Eurovision this year, because we've got Jala Jala over in Cyprus, and now we've got Bangaranga, Bangaranga happening in Bulgaria. So everybody's going to be having a good time singing along to these ones. She's having a good time, and her voice is really good. If indeed she is singing fully live. And now it's slowing down again. Quite an emphatic finale we're going for here. Visually, on the backdrop, it's not that great. Shake it about. Bangaranga. And they're all dead. Well, that's a shame. But that is the end. That is the end of the national final performance of Bangaranga by DARA for Bulgaria. If I had to give this a score out of 10, 10 being, good lord, that's incredible, and 1 being, oh my word, dreadful, I'm going to give that a 7. And I know I'm repeating myself here, but there's really promising signs. Tighten up that choreo, make the backdrop far more interesting. Don't run out of breath or steam during this performance, because it is quite a lively one, that's for sure. Certainly, I think jury support might be lacking, no matter what is done to this song moving forwards. But the public, I think, they'll respond to this quite warmly. I can't remember what semi-final Bulgaria are in. I have a feeling it's the second semi-final. So yeah, anyway, it doesn't really matter at this point because we don't have the full lineup. But that is a very credible comeback effort from Bulgaria. I don't know about you, but I was feeling the Bangaranga all right, and that's going to be stuck in my head. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you've got a catchy hook that people can go along with, nobody's going to give much of a crap what the rest of the song is saying, because, you know, that hook is the absolute defining factor of the song. That is the part that people will latch on to. And maybe I'm not making a great deal of sense here, but certainly that's going to be stuck in my head for a while. And she was having a great time. You know, she really was, bopping about in this white outfit. She looks fantastic. But I'm not sure about the tempo changes, really. I'm not going to say it's really jarring, but this song doesn't have the nicest flow to it. It's like we're being pulled in one direction and then being pulled in another direction, and we're not really honing in on something concrete, if you see what I mean. Taking a look at the comments, it's just fire. Norway ruined itself. Germany ruined itself. Serbia picked right. Bulgaria finally sends fire. What a banger. Embarrassing, honestly. What does Bangaranga mean? I'm wondering what Bangaranga means. Okay. It's not my cup of tea. Banger. Top 10 in Eurovision provided. Big return to my country. Love it. Well, a lot of people are really enjoying it. The studio version, if that's available, like I said, I will give that a listen. And hopefully, if you tighten up the screws before May, you could be onto something half decent, that's for sure. Yeah, more of a public favourite than a jury favourite, I'm calling it already. But yeah, I've got nothing else to add. Let me know... Oh, dear me. Oh, dear. It's really affecting me, that Bangaranga. Let me know your thoughts on Let me know your thoughts on Bulgaria's entry for Eurovision 2026, and I'll be back at some point soon after a good night's rest to check out Australia's effort. All being well, that video will surface within the next 24 hours or so, and maybe by then Sanremo will have finished. Who knows who's going to represent Italy this year? Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now.